Some watches beat gold. Here's why. In the quiet rooms of horological ateliers, metal and patience transform into something more than utility. They become portable heritage. Over the last century, certain timepieces have not only kept time, but also outperformed gold as tangible stores of value. This is a story of craftsmanship, scarcity, provenance, and the refined tastes that elevate some watches from instruments to assets. We begin with heritage, the founding moments that seeded desirability. In 19th century Switzerland, families forged workshops where tiny screws and springs were perfected. Those ateliers cultivated traditions, hand finishing, meticulous regulation, and proprietary complications that would later define collectible desirability. Brands with continuous lineage, limited output, and recorded provenance created a narrative collectors could trust. Provenance matters. A watch once owned by a notable figure or bearing an unbroken service history from a reputable maison acquires a premium that outpaces simple bullion. Next, craftsmanship, the microscopic artistry that justifies reverence. Consider hand-engraved bridges, in-house movements, and enamel dials fired by artisans who apply color grain by grain. These are not mass-produced goods. They are objects of human time and discipline, each imperfection a signature of authenticity. The materiality is nuanced. While gold is intrinsically valuable, fine watchmaking layers value through mechanical ingenuity and aesthetic rarity. Complications like tourbillons, perpetual calendars, and minute repeaters require hundreds of hours of assembly and regulation. That labor intensifies desirability. Scarcity plays its part. Limited series, discontinued models, and unique commissions create supply constraints. Some maisons deliberately cap production to preserve exclusivity. When demand rises among a global class of connoisseurs, prices ascend. The market for collecting watches is also emotionally charged. Collectors buy stories, not just metal. Market mechanics further distinguish watches from gold. Gold is a fungible commodity traded by weight and purity. Rare watches are unique items whose prices are driven by provenance, condition, and narrative. Auctions, dealers, and private sales create price discovery in ways that often reward rarity more than pure material. Iconic models have rewritten expectations. Consider sports chronographs and divers from the mid-20th century that were once ordinary tools for professionals. Time and scarcity reframed them as icons. When an emblematic reference becomes synonymous with cultural moments, a film, an expedition, or a notable owner, its market value can leap, eclipsing bullion performance. Condition is everything. A well-preserved original dial, intact patina, and documented servicing can transform a modest reference into a high-value collectible. Conversely, over-restored pieces often lose their soul and market standing. The collector's eye prizes authenticity and context. Restoration philosophy matters. Sympathetic conservation over aggressive replacement maintains value. Market infrastructure matters too. Prestigious auction houses, specialist dealers, and magazines cultivate desirability through curation and storytelling. They present watches not as commodities but as curated artifacts. Their descriptions, provenance research, and presentation further enhance a watch's aura and market performance. Cultural capital also drives prices. As affluent buyers seek tangible expressions of taste, watches serve as wearable symbols of lineage and discernment. This is a distinct narrative from gold bars in a vault. Watches are objects of daily intimacy that communicate temperament and knowledge. Economic cycles influence both gold and watches, but in different manners. Gold often rises in times of macro uncertainty as a safe haven. Exceptional watches, however, can outperform during surges of collector appetite or when cultural trends elevate certain references. Their returns are less correlated with macro commodity cycles and more with cultural resonance and scarcity. Case studies illuminate these dynamics. The mid-century sports chronograph, initially sold to racing drivers, has seen staggering appreciation when linked to a compelling provenance. Unique dials, special engravings, or military provenance add layers of value that gold cannot replicate. Another case, handmade complicated wristwatches from small independent ateliers can command sums far exceeding their material cost because they embody mastery and exclusivity. Buyers are acquiring not just metal, but the maker's time and reputation. The intangible is also tangible here. Certificates, workshops, ledgers, and original boxes contribute materially to market value. Transparency in history and documentation can turn a fine watch into a blue-chip collectible. Risks remain. Watches require care, insurance, and expertise to authenticate. Fakes and dishonest provenance can distort markets. Unlike gold, which has standardized assays, watches demand connoisseurship. Yet for those who invest knowledge and patience, select pieces can outperform gold. The lesson is precise. Not every watch will beat bullion, but certain watches, those with heritage, artistry, scarcity, and impeccable provenance, have historically done so. For collectors and investors alike, the pursuit is dual: appreciation of beauty and the stewardship of legacy. The final consideration is patience. Time rewards restraint. Watches appreciate through generations, through stories passed from wrist to wrist, and through markets that learn to prize subtlety. Investing in these timepieces is a slow, deliberate act, aligned with the rhythm of fine watchmaking itself. In the end, watches that outperformed gold did so because they are more than metal. They are condensed histories, human labor rendered small and portable. They marry technical genius with aesthetic discretion, and in rare cases, they transcend their materials to become cultural icons. If you seek a tangible asset layered with elegance, consider the quiet power of well-chosen horology. Some pieces will appreciate like bullion, others will become heirlooms whose value is felt as much as measured. The craft endures, and with it, the potential for timepieces to outperform gold, not by accident, but by design. Subscribe for more rare watch stories and investment insights every week.